Yeah, I'm pleased you asked that actually, because it's very, very disappointing. Look, I think as a player, you're asked to be given freedom and confidence and loyalty when it comes to selection to go out there and take the game on and to try and be aggressive and to try and make things happen for your team. And that's the style of play which both myself and the captain have asked of our players. But unfortunately, we're not quite getting that yet. We're certainly not getting it in the abundance that we needed. And I think what we saw from Prithvi tonight was the perfect template of how we want to play. Now, you're not always going to be able to hit every ball for 4 or 6, but you can have the intent to do so, and particularly when you're given a free licence. And it's very difficult to play if you don't play shots to score runs. And unfortunately, tonight we didn't play enough shots, and it's become a bit of a theme. And a saying that I've sort of used throughout my career is, if you can't change the man, change the man. So we'll probably have to make some changes and try and bring in some fresh personnel who will hopefully try and take the game on a little bit more. Look, I think the order on paper looks really good, but just hasn't delivered it in its entirety. So, you know, you can't. You can only look at the best games of guys when you're putting together a batting order, and unfortunately, you know, we just haven't been able to go on with it and be able to post the suitable score or lay the suitable foundation for our real strength, which is in the middle. Andre Russell did well tonight, coming in and being able to pick up the pace, but look, on a slow surface like that, you've really got to maximise the new ball and the fielding restrictions. And I think one thing we've got to get our heads around is in T20 cricket, you've got to park the old school mentality of trying to find a boundary and then get a one. You've got to try and put some pressure back on the opposition bowlers, and if you get a boundary, then look for another one, and then look for another one. And if you're able to do that, then the opposition bowler is under immense amount of pressure, and normally what happens then is they don't execute. Then you can have big overs, and then that allows you to be able to build into an innings and create those partnerships and those sizable platforms. And it's very difficult if you're not trying to look for those boundaries for that to happen. So it's more of an application thing than it is anything else, and it's incredibly disappointing because I've asked time and time again for us to be more aggressive and more expressive and to take the game on, and we continue to not do it. So we're going to have to make some changes for sure. Look, I don't think it was lost in the first over, but it was a huge psychological blow from Prithvi Shaw, and I have an immense amount of respect for Prithvi because not too many people in world cricket play the game with that sort of approach, and you've got to give kudos as well to Rishabh Pant and to Ricky Ponting and the Delhi Capitals management, that they've been able to ask a player to play like that and for him to buy into it. And look, he's a rare talent. He put us under immense amount of pressure early. Shivam Avi's been really good for us in the couple of games leading into this, but he was just not allowed to settle. And it was a big blow for us, but we should have still been able to come back because Andre Russell hit plenty of runs off that last couple of overs for us as well. And, you know, one big over shouldn't have been the deciding factor. I thought after that over, we took a step backwards, and that's really frustrating from our point of view because we talk a lot about staying in the contest and about just hanging in there and trying to put some momentum back into the game if it's not with us. And you shouldn't be shell-shocked in one over and not be able to respond to it. But we were tonight, and that's going to ask some tough questions of us. But I will stress, I thought Prithvi Shaw was outstanding and played a wonderful innings, and he deserves the accolades. I had a conversation with Andre at the start of the season, and we look at a lot of stats and facts, and you try and back up what is the best place for him. And ideally, with the right platform, beyond 12 is what we agreed on. But there is times where he's going to have to come in a little bit earlier. Today he came in slightly earlier. It actually allowed him the ability to settle a little bit, but he really couldn't play with the same freedom because we had fallen into a bit of a hole, and it was only his brutal power towards the end which allowed us to post any sort of total. But I think the other day he came in, and the game was the game against Chennai at Mumbai, and the game is so far beyond us that he was able to come in so early and just try and take the game on, and he has that ability. But I think ideally from 12 overs onwards is where he can do his most amount of damage with the least amount of risk. And so it's really up to the rest of our guys to provide him with a better platform rather than asking him to do too much. But he was good tonight. He's been good the last few games. And as a coach, when you go through a tough loss, you try and hold on to a few positives as well. And that was certainly one of them. Pat Cummins was certainly one of them as well. And so, you know, you try and hold on to those and obviously look through some of the negatives and try and make sure you sort those out. But ideally, 12 overs onwards.